Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Mwah. So I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're being blessed. Yeah, and so been going through a lot lately, and so I want to open up with my childhood, a little about my childhood. I grew up, my parents met in Colorado, and they were Christian when they had me. They married, and keep in mind, okay, so they married and they evangelized a little bit, and stayed in this coffee house with this. Remember this, okay? And when I was younger, you know what I mean, and I guess it was like a Christian coffee house back then or something like that. And by somebody now recently that the Lord led me back to in my past community. So I want you to remember that as I go and share my story, okay? In my recent past. Anyways, and so, anyways, yeah, they evangelized, and then something happened, or they just, they divorced. My mom met my stepdad, which at the time when I was younger, I believe he had, my stepdad, and who was, I think he had a narcissistic personality disorder as well. Anyways, and so when she met them, I would go a little, my dad wasn't really in the picture, my real dad, and at that time. And so anyways, and so I grew up around, my stepdad. He was an alcoholic. And, again, this man didn't have parents, didn't have, again, generational things, was not taught, was not healthy, unhealed. He worked a lot, tried to provide for us at a young age, my stepdad. And, but again, when my mom got in the relationship, it was very, very toxic. Yelling, he would put her down. He would beat her. Just a lot of things I remembered as a child. Just toxic, okay? And there's moments I remember her, she was in a car and he pushed her out of the car, just that kind of relationship, okay? And so I was very young. And so she was the greatest. She didn't have her mother. Her mother left my grandpa when they were younger because of just verbal abuse, and I think that was it. But my grandma on my mom's side left with the youngest kid. So my mom raised my sister by herself, and while my grandpa worked, okay? And so when she got adult, she had a child at a young age. And so, and that child got adopted. And anyways, and so when my mother had met my dad, she was really young. Again, I think, I forgot how old were they? I have to ask my dad. 20 or maybe younger. Anyways, they had, end up having 3 kids. And so, so they evangelized, at that time in the past. I remember as a little girl too, when they were praying for people and stuff on my dad. And so with that, I remember those memories. In front of this old liquor store right down the street. I mean, not down the street, but on Colfax. Anyways, and so, yeah. So anyways, and so time goes by, and they end up, where did I go? They end up, sorry. Yeah, so she ends up going with my stepdad, and so she did what she could do as a young mother. She was a great you know, the little time I got with her, she was amazing, you know, and she did her best. And, you know, and she had took a lot of videos and pictures, and, you know, she would just, you know, like, I had a memory, a nostalgic memory about her in the cookie jar. She would have a cookie jar. She would make homemade cookies and put them in the cookie jar. And on our birthdays, she would, get us the Bigfoot back in the day. I think it was like, back in the day, it was like $10, but it was huge, big old, huge pizza in squares. And she would make us a birthday cake and get like one gift. You know what I mean? We didn't have much when we were younger. And again, poverty. And so, anyways, and she would make dinner. We would, back in the day, we would like, at that time, play in the dirt. Like, I was a tomboy, so I would play football and my Barbies, and, you know, I would run and play with my brothers, and then I would get her and go cry to my mom. And anyways, but, and she would make her costumes. You know, she did what she could do, you know what I mean? And, so time went on, and, yeah, my stepdad was abusive to us as children when he drank, you know, and, yeah, so I grew up like that kind of environment a little bit until my mom left my stepdad, you know, and, yeah, eventually she got the courage up, you know what I mean? Like, and she left my stepdad because she had 6 kids, you know, and so, she tried to, you know, stick around and, you know, again, tolerate the abuse, you know what I mean? There were cops at our house. We had neighbors across the street, you know, and we had neighbors across the street, and that would always have the door open, you know what I mean? And so, and he would go in and out of jail, and then he would get out, and she'd take him back, and like, yeah, she just wasn't called to break the generational curses in my bloodline, you know? And so she did what she could do, knowing what she did, you know? And so, anyways, so eventually, you know, I just remember, a lot of that in my childhood. And, there's little moments too where there's a church down the way, and she would just send us off on Sunday school, and she wouldn't go. She loved God, but I don't think she had like a deep relationship like I do now, but she loved God. I miss, you know, yeah. And so that's a little bit of, you know, I was going back and forth. And so up until 10 years old, you know, then my dad decided to take us one day, you know, there was a lot of, you know, my stepdad and my dad didn't get along, you know? And so, my dad ended up deciding one day, just not tell my mom and just take us to California. And it was funny because my mom had an ad in the paper and had missing children, you know, but because my dad took us without telling her. And we were her life, you know, my mom loved us so much, you know, and we were her like joy, you know, and, anyways, and so that's when I left to California, with my dad and started living with him. And eventually my mom left my stepdad and moved out to California. Anyways, and so, yeah, so I started living with my dad like around 10. And yeah, it was really hard for me, you know what I mean? Like, and my mom wasn't there for a couple years, and she eventually moved out there because, you know, we're her babies, you know, especially me as a girl. And my 2 brothers with me, you know, and so eventually she moved out to California with my other 3 brothers and sisters. And she liked traveling, you know, we used to travel a lot, you know, and she used to drive across to the Grand Canyon, to California, to Colorado a lot. She loved the Grand Canyon. And lately I've been really missing her, you guys. So like I said, this is a page of a generational curse breaker. And again, I just share yeah, my story, my journey, and how I broke generational curses and stuff. And so, anyways, and so we're gonna talk a lot about memories and stuff like that in my past. And so, but I've been feeling like I've been really, really missing my mother, and lately, and feeling nostalgic. There's things like lately that have been coming up, and yeah, and so she's a beautiful, beautiful soul. You know what I mean? Like, and again, she did what she could do, you know, knowing what she did, you know, and so let's see, yeah, so I ended up starting going in with her when she moved back to California, and I lived with my dad, yeah, for a while. My dad used to do, excuse me guys, my dad used to do like things outside with the kids, you know, and, you know, instead of them getting into at a young age going out and drugs and partying and stuff like that, he would do things like he would buy boxing gloves, you know, in the place where we lived at the time, and he would do like boxing matches, you know what I mean? And it was so cool. And he would have like little prizes and stuff like that, and you know, and to get their anger out and the frustration, you know what I mean? Like he would just do fun things like that, you know what I mean? Like, and he would have boxing. He would set up like a TV with boxing, and people could come over and eat. He would barbecue all the time, you know, and so I'm very thankful for my dad, my mom, and the time I got with them, and you know, they did what they could do, knowing what they did, you know, and so my dad, he never got to meet his father, and he was raised by his stepdad, which he has, and his mom, which he has 10 brothers and sisters, including him. I mean, so it makes it 11. 10 including him, this is 11. And so he has a big old family on his side. And so anyways, and so just back and forth. I would go back and forth at a young age with my parents, and you know, just them arguing, you know what I mean? Like I remember, yeah. And so this is childhood. We're gonna do teenage years too, okay? So we're gonna do that in the next video. But this is just a little of my childhood, you know, and yeah, she's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful person, you know, and so, but just a lot of toxicity, you know what I mean, and that I seen growing up, you know, abuse, and but a lot of love at the same time, and I'll explain that, but you know, I remember staying up with her, and she would let me sneak out and eat popcorn, her favorite smart food popcorn, that cheese popcorn and Diet Pepsi. And you get lucky if you get to get up and stay up with her and watch the movie, and you eat popcorn with her, and it was just like, you felt so lucky, you know what I mean? Like, and she let me do that with her, you know, and she would like, shh, come on. Everybody else will be sleeping, you know what I mean? And so we would watch a movie and eat popcorn together, and anyways, and so but yeah, that's a little bit my childhood, and I can just remember the cookie. She had that cookie jar. I can't get that out of my head, guys. Like this little cookie jar, and just the smell of the cookies. I was a little girl too, you guys. And one day I got up, and I had, you know, my mom was sleeping, and I think it was around Mother's Day or her birthday, something like that. And she got up one day, and I had the fridge. It was open, and everything on the fridge was all on the ground. Flour, eggs, mustard, like all this stuff, right? And I had a bowl, and I put all this stuff, you know, in the bowl, and she's like, oh my gosh, sweetie, what are you doing? And then she told me, I lifted up the bowl and said, mommy, cake, mommy, cake. And she told me that I was trying to make her a cake. And because she has pictures back in the day when she took all these pictures, we'll go in my teenage years, but and she would go look at the pictures and tell me the stories, you know what I mean? I don't know if you guys, or family does that or anything like that, but she would just like, you know, or your memories or anything like that. You could comment a good memory of yours if they're still with us and stuff like that, or a lost loved one. You could comment below a good memory. Anyways, and so I just hold those dear. And so, and and then around 8 years old, she started letting me be in the kitchen. She started letting me do everything. She would just tell me taste it, and if it felt like I tasted it good, she would let me put it on the table. She wouldn't say, oh no, you need a little this, you know. She let me do it at 8 years old. So by 10 years old, I was cooking bed and breakfast for her, you know what I mean? And that's my journey. That's when my journey started with cooking, you know. And I'm very grateful. And these are all the things that I do remember, the things that I'm grateful for, you know, and of the memory, you know what I mean? Like, and so and just seeing her deal with a lot of abuse, you know what I mean? Like, and so physically, mentally, financially struggling, you know. And so I've seen a lot of that, you know. And but I try to keep her memories alive, you know. And I want to go here soon to the Grand Canyon and watch the sunset, you know, and just put her song on. And these are just things that I try to keep her memory alive, you know. And or like try to bake her cookies, the pecan chocolate chip cookies, you know, and the little crispy edges, how she showed me. And one day I'm gonna get a cookie jar, you guys, and I want like a cute little cookie jar. I'm trying to remember if it was like a bear or something, or like the cookie jar she got me, you know. I mean, she had, you know, when I was younger. And it's just like you open it up, remember that? Just nostalgic, you know. And just I want to get one of those, you know, and make cookies and yeah. And so it's so awesome, you know, and it's so beautiful. And so I always try to, you know, when I miss her, I try to keep her memory alive by, you know, cooking something and smelling it, something she was something she loved. And I would try to do the recipe. Cheesecake is one of them. All of her children loved her cheesecake. You know, it's not too sweet. It's not like the New York cheesecake. But anyways, and so but yeah, that's just a little bit of my childhood, guys. And I just want to say, I'm going to do another video. We're going to do my teenage years. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. But that's just, again, just a little bit of my childhood. Just, again, I got to see love from my mom, but a lot of toxic things too as well, you know. And that's one thing again, guys, I'm so grateful for, you know, no matter what, you know. I seen she just had a lot of love in her heart, you know. And we're going to talk about my teenage years, and I want to share some more how I felt. But yes, I'm very, very, very thankful for, I always thankful for God's time with her and whatever that plan was. And we'll share more on my videos as going forward. But I just want to share that a little bit of my childhood and how I was brought up. I'm going to do my next video is on my teen years and so forth and so forth. And we're going to keep going, okay? And so I want to say I love you guys. Thank you for your love and support. I got so much energy, so much good energy. I just want to give you guys a little background of me and then to where I'm at today, you know. And so but it's so cool because in my gifts, my healing gifts and stuff like that, I could diagnose everything she went through, you know what I mean? And she just wasn't healed, you know. And my stepdad wasn't healed, and my dad wasn't healed, and like, you know, just generational poverty, like all these different things, you know what I mean? And so, it's really cool, yeah. So I want to say God bless you guys again, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Love you guys. Bye.